Hi, I'm John from Spry Schedules. Spry Schedules is summer camp scheduling software that works on Mac or PC. Today I'm going to show you how to set up your camp in Spry. You open up the application, which can be downloaded at spryschedules.com. This is our main screen. I like to call it flagpole because it's really where everything happens. The first thing that you can do is enter your camp name. You can have different camps, so if you're running a family camp 1 week as an example, you're able to do that here. So I'm just going to call our camp White Spruce. And then we're going to set up our days of the week. You also have an option over here to have different numbers of weeks in your schedule. Some camps run on 1 week schedules, some have 2 week schedules, etc. So you're able to customize that here. I'm going to start off with Monday. Again, we gave you the flexibility to do whatever you wanted with your days of the week, because I know that some camps work 5 days a week, some are 7 days a week, etc. And then over here, we set up our periods with our names and times. So you might have your morning assembly first. Oops. Then you can enter your time over here. We're going to have period 1, period 2, period 3. And for now, we're only going to go up to period 4. We're going to do the same thing for Tuesday and Wednesday. For demonstration purposes, we're only going to use the first 3 days of the week. So what I can do is go ahead and delete all of the other days by clicking off the little checkboxes at the top. And then choosing delete selected day over here. Okay, so my days have been deleted from the schedule. You'll see that they're just blank for right now. Over here, you're able to upload your camp logo. That way you can embed it on different schedules you print out if you're giving them out to parents as an example. In the bottom left-hand corner, you can enter your unit names. You're able to filter all of your different reports by unit, so it's really helpful to configure this right now. So I'm going to call our first one Juniors. So you just double-click in the box, selecting it, type in Juniors, add unit name has been added. Next, let's say we have Seniors, add unit name. By clicking this little drop down here, you can see I have my juniors and my seniors. Next, we set up our proximity zones. Proximity zones are really cool. The way our scheduler works is that it can see the distance between one activity and the next, and it tries to minimize the distance between activities. That's one of the things that you used to have to do manually with other scheduling software, but we're going to take care of that for you. So my first proximity zone, I'm just going to call Zone A. We're going to have Zone B. And finally, Zone C. Now, the way that you want to enter your zones is in chronological order, starting with the zones closest to the front of the camp and ending with the ones closest to the back of the camp. That way the software knows the order in which they are. Lastly, we need to save everything that we've done. You're just going to click Save Camp over here, and it has been added. Now we're ready to set up our cabins. This is the cabin setup screen. You can give your cabins a name. I find it's easiest to use numbers, and then you can also give them a nickname if you want. So as an example, if cabin 100 is your CITs, you can put CIT as your cabin name. Here we can choose our unit designation that we entered in the previous step. So these are going to be my juniors because it's cabin 1. It's a co-ed cabin. Time off we'll get to later, but that's if you want to block off a certain portion of your schedule. As an example, with a day camp, if you have a half-day program running, you can do that in the time off. You also have fields here to enter your staff or counselor names. That way those will be printed on your schedules. So I'm going to go ahead and add cabin 1 by clicking the Add button. And you'll see it shows up right over here. If I want to edit any of my parameters for it, you just need to click on it again, and it will pop right up. But I'm done with that one. I'm going to go ahead and save it. I don't need to change any of the parameters. I'm going to create cabin 2. Cabin 2, this one is going to be a senior cabin, and it is going to be boys. And we're going to click Add. Let's say cabin 100 is going to be our CITs. It's going to be co-ed, and we'll put this in the senior unit. And there we've created our first 3 cabins, and we're ready to set up our activities. This is our activity setup screen. It works This is our activity setup screen. Activity setup works almost the exact same as cabins. Our first activity is going to be arts and crafts. I'm going to put A and C as the nickname here, just because it's easier to have a shorter nickname when we get to our later stages, and you're going to have a lot of information on the screen at once. Again, you can enter time off, so if you want to block off a lunch period as an example for your staff. Here we can enter rules, and we're going to get into that in a later web episode. Next is capacity. Capacity is really important. What it does is the scheduler needs to know how many cabin groups it can put at an activity at one time. So for most of your activities, 1 is going to be the default. But something like soccer, you might want to have 2 cabins so they can play against each other. But for arts and crafts, our limit is going to be 1. You also have this option here to say that capacity must be of the same unit. So for soccer, I want kids playing against each other that are the same unit. For some of my other activities, I might have a lot of instructors, so they don't need to be the same unit. Lastly, we're going to choose our proximity zone that we entered in step 1. Arts and crafts is sort of in the middle of the camp, so I'm going to choose zone B. And we're going to go ahead and click add. And there you see arts and crafts has been added. Next, I'm going to add soccer. The nickname I'm going to give soccer is SO. Capacity is going to be 2 cabins. They must be the same unit. Our soccer fields are at the back of the camp, so I'm going to choose zone C. And I might want to change the color just to differentiate sports from crafts, so I'm going to go ahead and choose a blue color. Go ahead and press add. So there you'll see we now have 2 activities set up at our camp, and we're ready to go ahead and assign activities to different cabin groups. We're going to show you that in our next video.